leaking top insider stock trades every day until they stop us, November 3rd. Banks and professional service companies have seen a ton of insider buying recently, and today was no exception. A director at WesBanco just bought $100,000 of the stock. It's his second largest purchase ever out of 7, and he hasn't bought any stock since 2014. He also has a killer track record on those stock purchases with a 55% average 1-year return and a 100% hit rate. So it has been a decade since he's bought a stock, but he did very well when he was buying stock before. As you all know, I'm not a huge fan of bank stocks as I don't know that industry particularly well, and it's a pretty unique industry. And in this particular case, the stock has been chopping quite a bit for the last few years, and there'd have to be something big that comes along that causes it to break out of this pretty defined range it's been chopping around in and go up meaningfully. However, they did make an acquisition recently that closed in the beginning of this year that could be a catalyst for the stock price to start to increase. So overall, a very strong insider purchase, and I recommend taking a look at that acquisition they made and seeing if that could drive some significant growth. But for me, banks just aren't that interesting. And we have another pretty similar situation at Farmers and Merchants Bank where a director bought $54,000 of the stock. He also has very good insider returns, averaging 31% 1-year returns and over a 70% win rate. He also hasn't bought the stock in over 2 years, and this was his largest purchase ever out of 16 total purchases. Their EPS estimates have been going up all year, which is a positive, but they even have less of a case, in my opinion, for why the stock might finally get out of the choppy range it's been in and start to go up meaningfully. So I wouldn't fault anyone for taking a stab at either of these two banks because the insider signal is quite strong, but I just don't really like banks. And then for professional services companies, the CEO at Booz Allen Hamilton just bought $2 million of the stock, which is his first purchase ever. And before this purchase, he had sold the stock 16 times in a row, so this is a pretty clear pivot from his consistent selling to a buy here. The stock is also down 50% in the last year and almost 20% in the last 3 months after another poor earnings report. They had to lower guidance across the board, and they mentioned that this turnaround is probably going to take longer than they originally thought, but the stock is trading incredibly cheaply, and it's a big turnaround story, obviously, with the stock down over 50% in the last year. To me, the price action is just way too weak. The stock is way below all of its moving averages for me to want to take a stab right now, but when the price gets above some of those moving averages like the 20-day EMA or 50-day or 200-day SMA, I think it's worth taking another look. We found a ton more insider trades that we talked about in the email and the Discord, which you can sign up for at CEOWatcher.com, including the CEO at Amrise buying $5.8 million of the stock, which is now his third purchase since their spinoff from Holcomb in June, which is a very interesting insider trade.